The world of banking is evolving faster than ever. With new technology, new generations, and new players, we need to stay relevant with an epic mindset. It's enabling talent by empowering and encouraging each other. It's showing passion by going the extra mile to deliver the unexpected. It's acting with integrity and accountability by taking ownership and exercising honesty. It's the willingness to collaborate and back each other up so we achieve more as a team. It's placing customers at the heart of everything we do, so banking becomes easy and efficient for all. We all have epic energy that's waiting to be unleashed. So get your epic on, and together we'll help advance our customers and society towards a brighter future. CIMB, moving forward with you.
It's amazing what we can do when things don't go as planned. These moments will test how strong and resilient we truly are. Because what matters most is how we respond to adversity. To push us to come back wiser, grow stronger, and aim for higher. As we all share the same hopes and dreams of a brighter, better future. So, let's begin again. Let's rise up and rebuild our future and theirs. This is our promise that in everything we do as one. We'll be there with you every step of the way. Because we believe the only way forward is together.
What does it mean to be epic? It's the way we empower and encourage each other. It's the way we go the extra mile and have empathy. It's the way we take ownership, be honest, and escalate issues. It's the way we work together and back each other up. It's the way we make it easy, efficient, and fair. So get your epic on. The world of banking is evolving faster than ever. With new technology, new generations, and new players, we need to stay relevant with an epic mindset. It's enabling talent by empowering and encouraging each other. It's showing passion by going the extra mile to deliver the unexpected. It's acting with integrity and accountability by taking ownership and exercising honesty. It's the willingness to collaborate and back each other up so we achieve more as a team. It's placing customers at the heart of everything we do, so banking becomes easy and efficient for all. We all have epic energy that's waiting to be unleashed. So get your epic on, and together we'll help advance our customers and society towards a brighter future. CIMB, moving forward with you.
It's amazing what we can do when things don't go as planned. These moments will test how strong and resilient we truly are. Because what matters most is how we respond to adversity. To push us to come back wiser, grow stronger, and aim for higher. As we all share the same hopes and dreams of a brighter, better future. So, let's begin again. Let's rise up and rebuild our future and theirs. This is our promise that in everything we do as one. We'll be there with you every step of the way. Because we believe the only way forward is together.
What does it mean to be epic? It's the way we empower and encourage each other. It's the way we go the extra mile and have empathy. It's the way we take ownership, be honest, and escalate issues. It's the way we work together and back each other up. It's the way we make it easy, efficient, and fair. So get your epic on. The world of banking is evolving faster than ever. With new technology, new generations, and new players, we need to stay relevant with an epic mindset. It's enabling talent by empowering and encouraging each other. It's showing passion by going the extra mile to deliver the unexpected. It's acting with integrity and accountability by taking ownership and exercising honesty. It's the willingness to collaborate and back each other up so we achieve more as a team. It's placing customers at the heart of everything we do, so banking becomes easy and efficient for all. We all have epic energy that's waiting to be unleashed. So get your epic on, and together we'll help advance our customers and society towards a brighter future. CIMB, moving forward with you.
It's amazing what we can do when things don't go as planned. These moments will test how strong and resilient we truly are. Because what matters most is how we respond to adversity. To push us to come back wiser, grow stronger, and aim for higher. As we all share the same hopes and dreams of a brighter, better future. So, let's begin again. Let's rise up and rebuild our future and theirs. This is our promise that in everything we do as one. We'll be there with you every step of the way. Because we believe the only way forward is together.
A very good evening and hello Team CIMB. Welcome to the Group CEO's Town Hall this evening. Thank you so much for your patience. Now, my name is Melissa. I'm your MC for this session. Now, before we begin, some housekeeping announcement. I know everyone's tuning in from YouTube today, and we'd like to encourage everyone to feel free to use the YouTube chat box to say hi from wherever you are. I hope you guys are already doing that. Send us some good vibes, share some heart emojis, and just get the energy up and running. We would really love to hear from all of you. Now, I think we still have some latecomers, so if you do have any of your colleagues who are still not in yet, do ask them to quickly come on in and tune in. And while that's happening, we'd like to remind everyone that we will be having a Q&A session after Dr. Rahman's presentation later on, and we'll be using Pigeonhole for our Q&A session. Now, you will see on the screen, there is a QR code. All you need to do is scan the QR code on the screen, or you may log on to www.pigeonhole.at and enter the event passcode GCEO. Once again, you may just scan the QR code on the screen. You may get ready right now, or you may log on to www.pigeonhole.at and enter the event passcode GCEO. And all you need to do is to include your name, your division, and the country you're submitting in your questions or your feedback from, and you can, when we're good to go. Now, if you do not have any questions or any feedback, you may also vote on any questions that interest you. And the question with the highest number of votes will then stand a better chance to be answered. So if any of you want to get ready, you do not have any questions, you just want to share feedback, we would love feedback as well. And also, if any one of you are experiencing any connectivity issues throughout the town hall, don't worry. All you need to do is exit the YouTube and rescan the QR code which was emailed to you earlier and come on back in. All right. And one more thing, which is really important, we would like to remind everyone that our town hall session today is private and confidential. So please refrain from sharing details of today's presentation to any third party or posting it on any social media or public platforms. Thank you very much. I think we are about ready to start. Once again, ladies and gentlemen of Team CIMB, welcome to the Group CEO's Town Hall for the year. We are very excited to be here this evening. My name is Melissa once again, and I'm your MC. Now, this evening, we are really glad to have in the same room with us Team CIMB from across the region. We have our team from Malaysia, from Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Brunei, Hong Kong, Myanmar, Philippines, Shanghai, in London, as well as other international officers. So we have everybody under the same roof virtually. That's really cool. So really, thank you so much for being here with us this evening. And today we'll be hearing from our Group CEO, Dr. Abdul Rahman Ahmad, and he'll be sharing with us on the 2022 full year financial results, as well as the Forward 23 Plus progress updates and the group strategic plans moving forward. Now, before I hand the time over to Dr. Rahman, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we need your cooperation. Gentle reminder that town hall session today is private and confidential. So don't share any details of the presentation to anyone or post on social media platforms. All right, thank you so much. Now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming our Group CEO, Dr. Abdul Rahman Ahmad. Over to you, Dr. Rahman.
Thank you, Melissa. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Good afternoon, Team CIMB. Firstly, it's a real pleasure for me to be with all of you today. Thank you for joining our session today. And let me go straight to the content of today's presentation. As Melissa mentioned, I would like to cover three areas. First, just to give you further details in terms of our financial year 2022 performance, which we announced on the 28th of February recently. Second, given the fact that I think this is our mid-year point for our strategic plan Forward 23 Plus, I thought it would be very useful for me to also share where we are today with all of you. And then, of course, third is to say what are the next step going forward, particularly in terms of our plan and our business plan for 2023. So let's start today's presentation. So as mentioned in my email to all of you, we had a very strong positive performance in 2022, really driven by increased revenue attributable to very strong loan growth, which grew close to about 7.7%, as well as the NIM expansion by virtue of the rising interest rate and optimized cost of deposit. At the same time, I think our cost management remained very disciplined. Later, I'll elaborate more, as well as we benefit from lower provision arising from prudent out of our deal and recoveries. So income actually grew by 8%. Operating expenses, I mentioned, was tightly controlled. We only grew by 3.2%. Our provision actually declined by close to 32% to only 2 billion ringgit. And in terms of, because of that, we had a very positive jaw, and our PPOP actually grew by 12.5%, enabling our profit before tax to actually grew close to about 34%. Next slide. So we exceeded effectively all our financial year 2022 targets. I really would like to thank all of you for all the effort, the contribution, the commitment that you have given throughout the year that enable us to record this very positive performance. As I said, we ended our core ROE at 10.2%, exceeding our target of 9%. As mentioned in my email, I think this is the first time for a very long time that we've been able to cross double-digit core ROE. So that is an achievement that I'm extremely proud of, and I hope you join me in terms of sharing this pride of our achievement. With that, our reported ROE also crossed the 9% mark, exceeding our target of 8%. As mentioned before, our underlying business remains very positive. Our loan growth grew by about 7.7% compared to the 5 to 6% target that we had. Our cost-to-income ratio, and this is the discipline that we are showing in terms of managing our costs. For the first time, I think for a very, very long time, we ended up the year, our cost-to-income ratio at about 46.5%. This is much closer to the I call it our competitors benchmark. So that's been a very, very positive development. And in terms of our loan loss charge, we actually delivered 51 bips below our target of 60 to 70 bips. And that is really our target. We met our loan loss charge target 2 years ahead of schedule under what we wanted to deliver under our strategic plan for 2024. More importantly, our capital remains very strong, and I believe this is one of the highest CET1 capital ratio that we had, which is 14.5%. This compared to our historical number, which historically was 12 to 13%. So I'm very, very happy that we are building what we call a very strong capital that would allow us to navigate and be more resilient if we encounter further challenges in the future. So the good news, as I said, the strong momentum that we had, and if we look at the evolution since 2018, I think it's been very positive. I think our operating income is close to 20 billion ringgit. On the PBT, I think that's one of the highest ever recorded at 8.5 billion core PBT that we have hit. As I mentioned, our cost-to-income ratio has really come down from, I think, a very high peak at 2019 of close to 54%. Now to only 46.5%. And as I mentioned with all of you, our ROE and CET1 remains very, very strong. And I think we delivered very positive in terms of core ROE exceeding 10% mark and CET1 ratio at 14.5% compared to in 2018, whereby we were only at 12.5%. So most countries really delivered very strong underlying performance pursuant to our transformation plan. So if you look at in terms of Malaysia, the PBT actually grew 31.4%. The PPOP actually grew by 8.1%. Indonesia had a really strong year. Our PPOP actually grew close to 12.3%, and profit actually grew by 28.1%. Thailand had a bit more challenging year in terms of operating income and PPOP, but because of the cost management as well as the lower provision, actually grew their profit close to 60%. And Singapore had also had a very strong year, growing their PPOP by close to 45%, benefiting not only from, I call it, strong growth in consumer side, but also from recoveries and right back in terms of expenses. So generally, all our countries are delivering strong underlying performance, and it shows that our transformation plan is working. So same with our business unit. Across all business unit, the underlying improvement was also very positive. Consumer grew their income by about 8.3%, PPOP by 12.2%, and profit before tax close to 42%. Commercial, particularly Malaysia, I think had a very, very strong year. PPOP actually grew by 13.5% and the PBT by 37%. Wholesale slightly had a more muted year because of the challenges within the investment banking environment, but still managed to actually to grow their profit before tax by 23%. And last year, in terms of the digital asset, particularly I call it the business growth coming from Philippines, coming from Touch 'n Go and Touch 'n Go D, as well as Vietnam, has been positive, enabling us to actually also grow our profit before tax by 40%. So generally, that's the 2022 results. I think most of you are aware the positive performance, but the other main thing is also, I think this is we just completed our second out of a 4-year journey in terms of our Forward 23 Plus. So, and we are really at the midpoint. And the good news is that the execution, I think, is tracking well, and we are well positioned to meet our 2024 target. If you all know, our ambition is really for our ROE to hit top quartile, which is between 11.5% to 12.5%. We are already at 10.2%. I think the momentum, we have 2 more years. I think that's pretty positive. And of course, we need to actually to continue the improvement in 23 before delivering the number in 2024. In terms of cost to income ratio, I think we are already close to that 45%. I think we just need to continue to maintain the momentum to really make sure our income grows and our cost is under control. And I think we should be able to actually to hit our 45% target. Cost of credit, as I mentioned, we are already meeting our 2024 ambition. So the challenge now is really to optimize this further, roughly to around what we call the 45 bits level, so that we can actually continue to, I call it, deliver profit growth. The good news is that I think the market is also recognizing the work that we are doing. For some of you who own CIMB shares, I think you would have noticed that in terms of what we call annualized total shareholders return, since in 2022, we delivered close to 11.7% growth, and this compared positively compared to the stock market of Malaysia, which actually declined close to 4.6%. But also, I think from the time that myself actually came in, that's one number that I actually track. We actually have been able to grow our share price close to 23.1% per year. So meaning on the cumulative basis, we have increased our share price and shareholder value close to 50% level. I think that shows the momentum, and market is recognizing the impact that we are doing, and not only just producing what we call positive underlying performance, but ability to actually to give more dividend. So if you can see our dividend yield, if you own CIMB stock, has been very good, and roughly around 5% mark. Next slide. So if you recall our strategic plan, Forward 23 Plus, one of the main thing was really about portfolio reshaping, which is we wanted to really fix certain areas of our business, but we also want to double down and invest in areas that we are doing well. And I'm very happy to report that the work on the portfolio reshaping is substantially completed. So if you look at it, our consumer portion of our business now have increased from 50% to 53% in terms of loan composition. We have really grew our consumer business. So if you look at the year-on-year growth on consumer since 2019, it's been at 16%. Indonesia consumer have been growing at about 24%. Malaysia commercial is roughly at 22%. And areas where we wanted to fix, we have really descaled. So for instance, Indonesia commercial, we actually descaled the business close to 19%, but in 2022, we are starting to actually to regrow that. And in areas like Thai commercial, where we wanted to actually to exit, we have reduced the portfolio close to 64%. So this work, I believe, is substantially done. And generally now, I think we can really now focus on growing the areas that we are comfortable and we are confident to actually to grow. And most of the work that we need to do in terms of fixing some of the segment are all done. And I think we can start regrowing this business. Now, on the cost side, I really would like to thank all of you. I'm not sure whether you're aware, we have really took out close to 1 billion structural cost takeout over the last 3 years. I know it's been painful. I know that a lot of you were put in what I call areas on where we can really optimize. But as I say, I'm very pleased to the work that we have done. We've taken out close to 1 billion, and a lot of it have come what we call I call it non-critical, and being very, very focused on cost. So for instance, on the ENG optimization, we've taken out close to 185 million ringgit in terms of what we call optimizing costs. And we've been able to actually to do this without doing what we call any large-scale FSS or VSS. We've been able to optimize our personal cost close to 250 million. So if you look at our cost in 2019, it is still higher than what it is today. Our cost in 2019 was 9.3 billion. We finished off 2022 at only 9.2 billion ringgit. So really appreciate, as I said, the work that all of us are putting in to really make sure that we become more cost conscious, cost disciplined, yet at the same time continuing to invest in areas where we know we actually have to invest, such as technology, such as people, in terms of some of the operational resilience areas that we needed to actually to invest in. The third part that I'm also very proud is, I know when I came in, a lot of the focus or question was say why our digital platform really are not reliable as what we wanted it to be. So the good news is that I think we have made significant strides in terms of this area, not only in terms of our uptime. I think we are exceeding the target. For instance, Malaysia Clicks, I think we ended up availability at 99.75%, exceeding our target. But more importantly, the number of incidents that in terms of unscheduled downtime have come down quite significantly. So if you look at Clicks for 2020, for instance, we had 19 unscheduled downtimes. In 2022, that has been reduced to 2. So I know in certain segments there's still work to be done. For instance, the PayNet, sometimes in terms of the do it now, I think it's down. But generally, in terms of what we call total system reliability, we are really making significant amount of progress. And I hope you will help to actually to highlight this, because I think this is one area that we've invested big. Over the last 4 years, we've been investing close to 900 million year on year in terms of trying to improve our technology and operational resiliency. And in 2023, we will continue to do that, to invest close to another 1 billion ringgit to make sure that our reliability, our digitization and resiliency remain strong. And as you can see, the results have shown very clear improvements. And this is something that we are all committed to maintain and sustain going forward. Next slide. However, I think most of you are aware, I think there was some question last year when I took that you guys have highlighted about the incidents that we've been faced, both then as well as historical. We know this has basically has emerged as a major issue, and it's impacting our what we call the Net Promoter Score, which is a measure of how people perceive us, which shows that in Malaysia particularly, the impact has been significant. So this is one clear area that we want to actually to tackle head on to really improve it. Now it's not only just about the operational incidences, but also the rise of scam and fraud in the market has meant that people confident not just on us but also on banks have been affected. So really, I think on our side, I think we really got to tackle this issue. All right, we know that it impacts in terms of people and culture. We have to improve our process. And we also have to tackle the technology side. But if there's one area that I want what we call a one bank approach for all of us to focus on is really let's address the operational resilience as well as the fraud and security, because these really are impacting consumer confidence in our bank as well as our industry. And bank is all about trust, right? We need to make sure that people trust and feel confident dealing with us, using our services. So this is one area that really, I hope that we can work all together to have a one bank approach to tackle the issue of operational resilience. Now, in terms of the other initiative under our so-called Forward 23 Plus, which is transforming fundamental, I think that's working well in terms of tackling the so-called operational resilience. Most of you are aware, we are now just about to complete Ecoris phase 1.0. We are now proceeding into Ecoris 2.0. The group finance transformation, I think that's taking already Lighthouse, we call it Project Lighthouse. I think that substantially, again, the 1.0 has been completed. We are now following up to make sure that these are also done. Our AMLA compliance remediation are substantially completed. So I thank all of you. I know that's a lot of work has been put in on this, on our FRS 9 and credit cost optimization. A lot has been delivered as shown by our credit costs. And in terms of our RWA and capital optimization, I think you can see the results out of it. I think we have saved or on target to save close to 20 billion in RWA, and our capital are strong today. And in terms of what we call the credit underwriting model improvement, that is in progress. In terms of human capital, a lot of initiative have been rolled out last year, particularly in terms of our values and culture. The EPIC rollout, again, I would like to thank all of you for embracing EPIC. We know there's still a lot more work to be done. So if you look at our OHI results, I think we continue to have positive momentum. We increased it by 2 points to 77 and now move to second quartile. So I'm very positive to hear the positive results, particularly in Singapore, Indonesia and Thailand. The positive results has been maintained, but we recognize that there are more work, and we hear the feedback that you have given through HI that in Malaysia particularly we need to do more work. So we are now analyzing it, really coming out, and for 2023 the key is really to embed EPIC further in terms of our DNA and how we actually practice it. And secondly, in terms of addressing the operational resilience culture change is extremely important. So the campaign to safeguard the bank is one area that we really want to double down, that all of us actually see it as our duty, as part of our accountability and integrity, to make sure that we all work together towards safeguarding the bank. Next slide. I think in terms of sustainability, again, I would like to congratulate all of you. I think our results in terms of S&P Corporate Sustainability Assessment was positive. We delivered 80th percentile, ahead of our target of 75 percentile. In terms of our S&P Global Sustainability places us in the top 15%. We delivered our sustainable finance target from the 30 billion, I think, ahead of schedule, and now we have put in a much higher target of 60 billion by 2024. So all of that, I think, is in progress. I think we are cementing ourselves as a leader within the sustainability space. But the key challenge now is really how can we sustain this particular position. So in summary, in terms of our results, is that our financial are working, have improved, but I hope we all recognize that we still need to do much more to deliver what we call top quartile performance. If we want to deliver our ambition to be the leading focused ASEAN bank, we need to actually to do more, particularly on the return on equity side. A lot of the other banks, as I said, are also improving. So I think we need to actually to make sure the positive momentum that we have continues so that we can deliver our top quartile ambition. So for 2023, our strategy remains. As I said, we developed Forward 23 Plus at the early inception of our journey. We believe the strategy still applies in terms of what we actually want to do. We have refined it slightly to take into account the challenges that we face, particularly, I think, in terms of the intense deposit competition, the escalated interest rate environment. But generally, the plan remains the same. And I hope you share with me, I think, in terms of the confidence that we've been able to build in terms of what we have delivered so far. And these are the plan that we actually need to continue to execute to deliver for the last 2 years of our Forward 23 Plus journey. But in terms of areas that we want to focus on, as I mentioned, one is operational resilience, customer safety, trust. I think these are the two areas that we want to actually to do, and really to embed what we call the EPIC and intensifying the ESG effort within our business, particularly in expanding our products and services to our client. I'm a great believer that our sustainability will allow us to actually to offer new products, new clients, so that we can grow our business and leveraging on what we call our client's own journey and wish to actually to expand and to be better within the sustainability space. On the business side of it, this year is all about what we call CASA, expanding our deposit franchise. With the intense deposit environment, a lot of the work that we want to actually to do is really to make CIMB bank account the main operating bank account for our customer. So it's extremely important for us to actually to really accelerate, not just increasing the number of CIMB customer, but also deepening the relationship that we have with our customer through increasing their usage of our bank account, but using us as their main CASA and deposit platform. So I think that is a real key initiative that we want to do. I think that's one area that we need to do better under Forward 23 Plus is really to cross-sell and to do our NOI growth better. Our NOI growth as a percentage of total income has remained relatively stagnant. So we really got to accelerate this to the various strategy to drive the non-NOI income growth. Our asset growth is pretty decent. As I said, now I think we really got to cross-sell, because to become more productive, more profitable, we really got to be able to cross-sell and service our customer better. The third one is you've been doing it already, and I just like you to continue that, is really improving our cost discipline and fundamental. I think it's really important for us to continue, right, and not to relax, right? Our cost discipline, our asset quality optimization, and risk management. So one area that really I would like to address is our gross impact loan ratio, which we believe still lacks from market, improving our loan loss coverage, which is the provision amount that we actually have via our impact loan, so that we are more resilient. So we have become less volatile. We have enough buffers or provisions such that if there's anything happen, then we actually have enough to make sure that we can sustain and navigate some of these challenges. So that's our focus key areas. Your leaders will actually come down and articulate what are their own plans to all of you, whether it's by country or by business. But in terms of our focus, these are what we call the 6 areas. We have set clear targets when we need to deliver. Most of you have read, we have announced that for 2023, we have an ROE target of 10.2 to 11%. My belief and my own wish is that we can deliver 11% ROE, so that I think we are in a very, very strong position to deliver 12% ROE in 2024. We expect our loan growth to be between 5 to 6%. In terms of cost to income ratio to be below our current level of 46.5%. Our loan loss charge now, we really, as I mentioned just now, we want to do better than target, better than ambition. We want to drive it down to about 45 to 55 bips. And then in terms of capital strength, we want to be still more than 13.5%. So these are all targets that we have set ourselves. I know these are ambitious, and this year maybe tough, but I'm really, after 2 years of working with all of you, I'm very, very confident if we put our mind to it, we strategize well, we plan well, and we track and we actually monitor the progress that we are doing, inshallah, we'll be able to actually to deliver this. So at the end, I just like to say we've crossed the midpoint of our strategic plan, Forward 23 Plus. So I hope, let's continue, keep our epic on, really focus and strive towards really delivering our ambition to be the leading focused ASEAN bank. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rahman, for that insightful presentation. Now it's time for Q&A. I hope you are ready. Now, before that, ladies and gentlemen, just a gentle reminder, you may submit in your questions through, we'll be using Pigeonhole. We are going to show you the QR code on the screen once again. All you need to do is scan the QR code on the screen, or alternatively, you may also log on to www.pigeonhole.at and enter the event passcode GCEO. If you are putting in a question or a feedback, remember to include your name, your division and country, and from where you are submitting your question in. Now, if you do not have any questions, you may also choose to vote on any questions that interest you. And the question with the highest number of votes will then stand a better chance to be answered. Once again, if you do not have any questions, feel free to drop us a feedback to Dr. Rahman, and we'll look forward to having the questions and the feedback right now. I think we have some already, do we? Shall we take a look? Okay, Dr. Rahman, question of the year. When is the bonus payout, and would we be getting significantly more compared to last year?
Yeah, I expected this question. The bonus payout, I think, will be the same as per, in terms of timing, will be the same like last year. So I seek a bit of patience in terms of this. In terms of improvement compared to, I think, prior year, I think that has always been our aspiration. But I just want to manage expectation. I don't want effectively I hope you understand that this year is not going to be the peak in terms of what we call our bonus. I think the whole idea is to continue to deliver what we call shareholder value, so that we can share this with our staff. So in terms of managing the expectation, I think in terms of improvement, yes. But as I said, it's not going to be the peak, because the idea is, we are able to deliver shareholder value in terms of return on equity next year, this year and next year. We like effectively the so-called bonus level to be shared better with all of you. So I think that's always the intention and the ambition. I hope I answered that question.
Thank you, Dato'. Shall we take a look at the next question or a feedback, perhaps? Coming right up. Dato', what are we really doing to retain talents? Promotions, increments are nowhere near competitive. If it was, our staff will indeed feel happier and contented. We need real solutions. Dato', your thoughts, please?
Yeah, I think in terms of, and that's what the work that we need to actually to do to really, I call it improve in terms of our OHI. And I have to believe that improving retention is just beyond compensation and increment. And if we look at the progress that we have been able to make in Indonesia, in Thailand, in Singapore, whereby I think the data coming back in terms of the OHI, I think we have achieved meaningful, I call it progress in terms of people commitment or passion to actually to work. I don't believe all of it relates to compensation. I think compensation is important, but it is not the only, I call it the only part. So my belief effectively in Malaysia, we really got to tackle particularly how do we make people I call it happier to actually to work in CIMB. And the feedback coming through from all of you in terms of your answer, it is not just about compensation. Compensation is important for all of you, but you want an environment where you guys can be better, work better. You want more empathy, you want more understanding, and you want people to recognize basically the talent. You want people to actually to communicate with all of you more. So I think these are the things that we need to actually to do, because to tell the truth, and you know, I can get Gurdeep to actually to share, we have done a lot of what we call benchmark analysis in terms of our pay, and our pay is generally, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but generally competitive. So my belief is that we really got to tackle what we call talent retention beyond just, I call it, compensation. I think we got to create more collaboration. We need to tackle the issue about career progression, about talent development, all the areas that all of you have highlighted are important to you. And I think we are making progress on these particular areas. We just need, I think, to communicate better, articulate better, and engage better. So one of the comments coming back is that you felt that the engagement level, particularly to the leaders, your bosses, still needs to be improved in Malaysia. So those are the, I call it the initiative. We have a series of initiatives, how we tackled it. And as you know, we like to be very structured. So what are we doing to tackle talent development? As you know, we are restarting our so-called program in terms of accelerated development talent program for our staff, both at the high level leaders, but also to the senior leaders, mid-level leaders, so that we can help develop all of you and equip all of you the necessary skill set. I believe those are areas that we really got to, I call it, tackle and invest more on this, while at the same time, of course, making sure our compensation remains competitive.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dato'. We hope that answers that question. Shall we take a look at the next one? Will we be refurbishing Menara CIMB to better suit the hybrid working
Yeah, so I think that's one area. We know that our building have been we've been in occupation for quite some time. We are looking at what we can actually do. We have to do it on what we call on a sensible manner, on a phased manner. But as I said, and there are certain flaws that I think we have already started working to make sure. I mean, for instance, I call it the technology flaws. I thought it was pretty well how we basically refurbish our floors to make it much more receptive, or much more I call it a great place to actually to work on. As you know, we just moved to our hub, CIMB hub, that our new building space for us to actually, which I believe is significantly better than the previous location that we were on. So we will continue to actually to invest, I call it, in terms of our space, like you say, to accommodate what we call the hybrid working arrangement, but also to make our people really wanting to actually to come back to office and actually work.
Okay. All All right, thank you, Dato'. Let's take a look at the next one, shall we? The cost-saving initiative is heavily impacting headcount in each department, even though the total workload is the same. Employees are feeling pretty burnt out from this. Do you have any comments or plans to improve on this situation?
Yeah, so I think it's really important, and you look at the cost savings or our cost initiative, cost discipline has been one of our biggest success. And to do this, it's not just about reducing headcount; it's how to become more productive. I think that is extremely important for us to do, and all of us needs to find way how we can be more productive. Now, a lot of that work, I believe sometimes, and this is my own personal view, we probably try to do too much in CIMB. Can we decomplexify our business? Can we make our business more simple so that we can actually design it and operate it better? I think a lot of that, I'm a big believer that if we feel that our people are burnt out, are we doing too much or are we doing the right thing, right? And that is something I really would like to actually to encourage. If any of the leaders here actually, if we get this feedback, we ask our question: is this the right way of doing things? Do we really need to do this kind of stuff? So to me, trying to actually to increase productivity is all about figuring out whether we are doing the right thing or doing it in a smart way. And that's why I think we've been trying to do rapid digitization. We are trying to actually to do where we can actually automate better reconciliation. I think we're in the process of doing, auto reconciliation so that the burden on our staff becomes less and less. In the world of tech, I really believe, and that's why part of our strategic plan is really about not just digitizing for our customer, but also digitizing for our own work experience. And I would encourage all of you, right? And this comes from throughout, right? If you feel that the work that you guys are doing are not really productive, just shout it out, just highlight it so that we can actually figure out, do we really need to do this work? Can this work be done better through automation? And then so that the burden on all of you gets reduced. That's why we embark upon rapid digitization project. We want to actually to do, automation, etc. and all that. Because to tell you the truth, my theory is sometimes we over complexify the way we actually do things.
That's food for thought for all of us. All right, shall we take a look at the next one? It's been 2 years since we highlighted optimal coverage, which is crucial for daily facing the monitors. Last few town halls, HR promised to look into this, but there has been no updates after 2 years. Optical coverage.
So this is for the question is on benefits. As you know, we have plans to actually to introduce what we call flex benefits. So rather than we actually add more and more benefits, the idea is for you to be able to choose what benefits you actually would want, right? So for instance, you can choose. Some younger part don't want too high a medical benefit. They want something else. So that is currently being worked on, and we hope to actually to roll out in 2023, so that we allow you to choose which benefit you actually really want. And then, so we have a quantum of value of benefits, and then we have a menu of benefits, and then we're going to leave to all of you to make a decision on which benefits that you want. So apologies for the time taken, but I believe Niaga has introduced this. We are planning to actually to do this in Malaysia, so that this issue about what benefits you want, I think we leave it to you, right? On our side, we actually have what we call a value of benefits that we set. You guys choose which benefits you want.
Okay, I suppose that's something that we'll be looking forward to this year as well. Okay, let's move on to the next one, please. When will we be able to adjust the salary for staff which are not under union, as inflation and high cost of living is really high right now? Dato', your thoughts on this question?
Yeah, so obviously we have what we call the increment, our standard annual increment. On this, we are doing, we continue to benchmark people. So if they are below the compare ratio under our increment matrix, we will, invest more, meaning that we will allow higher increment for those who are high performers and those who are relatively below the level of benchmark. So all of that, I think we will actually continue to do. But this is where productivity becomes extremely important, because if all of us want higher increment, higher benefits, it's really important for us to become more and more productive. I think one of the bigger challenge in Malaysia and a lot of organizations is that our productivity level tends to be stagnating. And when productivity level stagnates, then you cannot give higher pay, higher increment, because that is just basically will result in higher costs and worse in terms of the bottom line. So I think we got to tackle this issue through greater productivity. One person, you can do more by being more productive, and obviously the ability for us to actually to adjust and provide higher increment will be a lot better.
Okay, all right, thank you. And the next question or feedback, please. For the 16% employer contribution, staff are mandated 12% to EPF and 4% to PRS. As the return in PRS is pretty low and not making profit versus EPF, can the bank look into this by giving an option instead of making it mandatory? What's the Dato'?
I think we can. This one I'll speak to HR to actually to look at it. The whole idea of PRS before was obviously we had asset management part on this, but I do understand EPF return are a lot higher than PRS return. So let us look into this and see whether we can provide a greater option for our employees.
All right, thank you, Dato'. I hope that answers whoever is asking that question. That's wonderful. Okay, next one, please. We are from CIMB Malaysia, and we would like to know if there are any plans to compensate employees for their hard work in the form of stocks or shares to build a sense of belonging within Team CIMB.
That is something that we can continue to look at, but historically, CIMB used to actually to have an ESOP scheme, but the feedback coming through, because the number of shares that was being received was too small, then it wasn't really impactful. Plus, as you know, a lot of the stock or shares, you have to hold it for a period of years, right? Whereas for our average employee, you rather get it in terms of higher bonus. So to us, this is something that we will continue to study. But as I said, if we have an extra dollar, would you want the extra dollar to be given to you in shares that you have to sell, you have to keep for more than 2 years, etc., and all that? Or would you rather have the extra dollar to be given to you in terms of extra annual bonus? So to me, I'm very cognizant, right? For senior management, etc., and all that, because we do that, we understand, and that's why we have an LTIP scheme for that part. But that means that we are not able to crystallize those shares for what we call for a long-term period. But for the average person, I'm not quite sure whether that is the most effective way to compensate all of you. I would rather, some would argue that you rather have that in what we call higher annual bonus. But this is something that we will continue to look at what is the right way, because like you highlighted, that sense of belonging, building that sense of belonging is also important. So that's something I guess we'll work with HR to continue to actually to evaluate and look at this area.
All right, thank you, Dato'. Shall we take a look at the next one? How was the OHI results for 2022? We heard some divisions scored poorly versus 2021, and what are the main concerns, and how is the group planning to address these concerns?
Yeah, I think the overall result I've shared with you just now is positive. We up another 2 points to 77, and we move from third quartile to second quartile, which is, I think, very positive. The good news is that the positive OHI comes mainly from Indonesia, Thailand, who sustained their result, and significant improvement in Singapore, which I'm very, very happy, and I think congrats to Victor and team to be able to effect this. In Malaysia, we did improve, but not to the level that we would like it to be. So when you heard this whole issue, yeah, there are certain, in Malaysia particularly, I think we need to do more. So what was the main concern? As I said, a lot of the concern, I've sort of like highlighted it. You want more engagement. You want more understanding of the areas that in terms of what we are actually trying to do. You want more empathy. You want more recognition in terms of success, and not just through money, but in terms of listening to your views and thanking you when I think things do well. So all of this, I think we are distilling it. Malaysia in particularly, we're going to do a dedicated, specific program to really tackle and address and to what we call to deliver the same impact that other countries have been able to actually to deliver. So it's going to be a core priority, but we really need for what we call support from, I call it the leaders, right? Because all of us work for leaders. And it's not what I call just, top level, me or whatever. We need to really cascade and make sure that our leaders, the people that most of our people report to, our supervisors, our managers, etc., and all that, also buy into wanting to address some of the issues that's been highlighted. Some of the comment, as I said, a lot of it, we are too transactional. We push people hard, but when they deliver, we don't say even thank you well enough. We don't even communicate there. So I think these are the areas that I think we need to actually to really address and tackle. And we can all start doing it ourselves, right? If somebody helps you, somebody basically do well with you, I think we need to actually to be, I call it to show epic, right? To basically to say thank you, right? Enabling talent is all about celebrating success together, going through adversity together in a very empathetic way. So I think all of that, I think are really important for us to actually to tackle. And I'm very confident we are going to do what we call a structured, but also a culture change effectively program that we continue to really address some of these concerns that's been highlighted in your feedback. The OHI, to tell you the truth, is your own feedback on how we are doing and what are the areas you want us to improve on.
Good, Dato'. I suppose we also have to start practicing the EPIC values from wherever we are, whichever level we are at as well. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. The CIMB really support the hybrid working arrangement. There are bosses who require HO support staff to go back office 4 to 5 days a week, while others only 2 to 3 days. Some of them feels that this arrangement is pretty unfair. What are your thoughts, Dato'?
Okay, so this one area that we have taken on board your own suggestion, meaning empowerment. So I didn't decide who works 2 days or 3 days. We decided that we're going to break or categorize our organization into two, flex and non-flex. For the non-flex one, we know these are the branch people, they have to come to the office. For the flex one, we really then just govern 3 operating models, and we allow the division, the business, the enablers to actually to decide for themselves, right? What works. Now, some of you, the outcome out of it, which is what you have highlighted, some actually believe that it's really important for them to actually to have 4 days or 5 days. Some believe that, we can be equally effective as 2 to 3 days. Now, I don't think you should see that is unfair. But I believe that decision, which is an empowered decision, given so that each division or each part can make the decision what works for them. I think that's more practical rather than have one decision that we apply, it doesn't quite work. Now, obviously, if you feel that, why you have 2 days compared to 4 days, then you have the highlight to raise in your town hall to say, boss, why, right? But I also hope that you respect the decision, because you may want 2 days. Your colleague or that sitting beside you may feel that it's really important. 5 days. Just imagine people who just join us. If all 5 days of them, they work from home, how do they basically get to know and be effective in this organization? So I do believe out of this, there's no right or wrong answer. Whether 4 days or 5 days, 3 days, there's no right or wrong answer. The best decision gets done when we empower people what's right for that division, what's right out of that. And then effectively keep asking ourselves, do we need to refine ourselves to do this better or not? I think that's much better rather than we say that, hey, why is I'm here in a business and I need to come 2 days or 5 days and another person 2 days? Because there's no right or wrong answer. It has to be made in a manner that works for that unit, for that particular division. And I hope you understand that.
Okay, all right, thank you, Dato'. Now for the last question, Dato', we are gonna let you pick among the list. So we're gonna show you the list here right now, and you get to pick the final questions for today's town hall. Take your time.
Yeah, so I think I'll take the 170, which is lack of promotion, lack of advancement. That's one area that, from your feedback, we are really tackling. And we're going to do it in a structured manner because now we do analyze people who are stuck in a particular grade, how long they have been. And we will analyze that and ask the question why, right? Why a certain person hasn't basically moved up. And there can only be two reasons. They have reached a ceiling or effectively they are not effectively strong enough to actually to move to the next level. And then let's try to actually to tackle that issue in a very structured manner. Give them more training or allow cross movement within division, even cross country. One of the elements that we wanted to introduce more is that to allow experiential experience working in other countries, in other divisions. So that is one area out of that. And I think this is where you have to take ownership of your own advancement, right? If you you feel that you basically been there, please ask. Please speak to boss. If you don't, please speak to HR. Why? And ask them the question, okay, what does it take for me to actually to advance more? Now, if the honest truth answer is that, look, you have hit the ceiling, then at least and at least you have to make a judgment whether you want to continue with us or whether you want to find somewhere else that you actually, will be able to actually to progress, right? But the bosses here and the HR person here, before you give that as an answer, please be honest and please be transparent and say, how do we help this person actually advance in their career? All of us wants to do that. So I would, as I said, the way to actually to tackle the lack of advancement is really being structured. We now analyze and I actually get the data now. How many of our people that's been stuck in a particular grade for more than X years? And then we ask the question why. And then we actually can build a program how to actually to address that. Now it's not easy because we have, in Malaysia alone, 17,000 people. In the whole group is 33,000 people. So trying to build what we call an advancement program for 17,000 people is not easy. But I think this is where we're going to tackle it. We're going to, we are already doing what we call particular areas. Where is your career path that we're actually going? You'll be able to actually to see, right? Where can you actually grow if you are in a certain, I call it work stream, right? Or job grade stream. We can actually see. And then we're going to say that this is how, what are the additional skill set that you need to actually to acquire? What are the experience that you need to actually to acquire to move that particular level? So that is how I think we plan to actually to tackle a lot of these issues.
Okay, thank you, Dato'. Do you want to pick one more before we get you to do a closing?
There's a question of verbal abuse can decrease stuff, but I basically believe, things can go wrong and we all upset when things go wrong. But as I said, we must, and this part of EPIC, if there's one area that I really hope you guys will embed and will practice is really to make sure that, we treat people respectfully at all times. Now, that doesn't mean we tolerate mediocrity, right? That doesn't mean that we tolerate mistakes. right? We must basically address, there must be consequence management out of it. But we can do all of this in what I call respectful manner, professional manner. And I really hope all of you, and it's all of us, right? Because Epic is not, I call it difficult. It's tough that you want how people treat you, right? And that's how we should treat other people. Nobody likes to basically to be whacked publicly, etc., and all that in a demeaning manner. And I don't think that's effective anyway to actually to address that particular issue. But we must do it. We must what we call tackle the underlying issues. But at the same time, we must also not tolerate, I call it non-performance. People who don't perform, we have to be very honest and open in a respectful manner, saying that, I'm sorry, you are not delivering on this. Why? Right? And can you let me know what I can do to help you be better? But if you are not able to be better, then are you sure CIMB is the right place for you? Because surely you don't want to work in an organization whereby you just feel demotivated, you keep not doing great things, right? Everybody wants to come to work, to be passionate, to be wanting to do great work. So if you are telling me you can't do great work and you notice these are areas, maybe CIMB is not the right organization for you. And I think we need to have that kind of conversation. If you are more comfortable to have that kind of conversation, I think people they may disagree, but they'll be less unhappy. They'll be more understanding, right? All of us, that as long as we do all of it objectively. So my view is that that's what Epic is all about. Epic is all about being respectful, collaborate, working better together with all of us. And even when things go wrong, right, we still effectively are able to tackle issues in the right manner. But obviously, people is underperforming. We still have to take action. That's what integrity and accountability is all about. So I hope that answers your question, and I believe we can do that. And I believe we practice, all of us practice it. It's not about just me, just basically the GEXCO. All of us practice Epic. Then I really believe we are able to create the right environment, a happier environment, a highly motivated environment, which is all of us enjoy working in. And that's the objective of Epic, really to make the best talent with the right values, right, thrive in a great organization. That's what Epic ambition is all about. So thank you for that. Lisa, I've answered all of those questions. Happy some of these other questions, I think we'll try to actually to address it in a structured manner and give feedback back to you in terms of the actions that we are actually going to take to address some of the issues that you have raised. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dato'. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for questions at this town hall. Now, before we close, just last words, Dato', do you have anything to say before we end for today?
No, I just want to, again, thank all of you again for all the hard work in 2022. I hope you share with me that the plan or the strategy is working. It's not perfect. I fully understand. We need to actually to continue better, but the progress is real. And I hope you share in the pride that we are making significant progress. And I really would like to continue working together with all of you to make sure that we will deliver in terms of our ambition under our Forward 23+. So thank you very much. Look forward working with all of you in 2023 again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dato'. And ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of today's session. Once again, thank you for tuning in, for your enthusiasm, your questions, and your participation. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, have a good week, and a lovely evening ahead. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
The world of banking is evolving faster than ever. With new technology, new generations, and new players, we need to stay relevant with an epic mindset. It's enabling talent by empowering and encouraging each other. It's showing passion by going the extra mile to deliver the unexpected. It's acting with integrity and accountability by taking ownership and exercising honesty. It's the willingness to collaborate and back each other up so we achieve more as a team. It's placing customers at the heart of everything we do, so banking becomes easy and efficient for all. We all have epic energy that's waiting to be unleashed. So get your epic on, and together we'll help advance our customers and society towards a brighter future. CIMB, moving forward with you.